Question 1.2. Paul has entered a motorcycle race. The digital clock in question 1.2.1 shows the time he finished the race. So this is when he finished the race. Then it says the odometer in question 1.2.2 shows the reading as the motorcycle crossed the finishing line. Okay, so we have two different types of readings here. Choose an item from column B to complete the statement in column A. Write only the letter next to the question numbers 1.2.1 and 1.2.2, e.g. say F or etc. Okay. The analog clock that shows the same time as the digital clock. So we know that our hour hand has to be 10. Remember, our hour hand is short. So here, this one's pointing to, my hour hand is actually pointing over there. So we know that it's not this one. My hour hand over here, which is the shorter hand, is pointing to 10. My minute hand, right, is pointing to 8. So we know that my answer there is going to be 1.2.1. My answer is going to be A. So just remember that your hours is the shorthand, your minutes is the longer hand. That's what they were testing, whether you understood that. Given the following odometer, Paul's speed is. Okay, so let's make sure we can read this. So it's sitting over there, and it's between 50 and 70, and it looks pretty much like it's on the dot between the two of them. So it's going to be 60, and it does say kilometers per hour, so we are going to be at 60 kilometers per hour. This one is basically a misreading from there, right? And that 55 is assuming that it's between 50 and 60 when it's actually between 50 and 70. So the answer here is D. 1.2.2, the answer is D. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm still going to do another question in this video, otherwise it's going to be very short. So let's continue to 1.3. A wooden L-shaped flower bed is filled with soil. Below is the L-shaped flower bed with dimensions, with D as a missing length. Okay, so this is missing. Dimensions of the L-shaped flower bed, they are given over here. They're given in meters. Please note that. Then picture L-shaped flower bed. So this is kind of the three-dimensional look at it. Use the information above to answer the questions that follow. Convert the longest dimension of the L-shaped flower bed to centimeters. So the longest dimension is going to be 7,3. You should be able to see that that's larger than the others, right? You could be saying, oh, but we don't know what D is. Well, you can see that D is shorter than 7,3, right? You can see that. So it's not like you need to find D in order to answer this question. So you say 7.3. Remember, there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So you're going to times this by 100. And you should be able to do that in your head. But if you can't, also completely fine. 730 centimeters. Make sure you put in your units, right? Common error of students. Then it says, calculate the missing length D. We knew that was coming, right? Whenever there's something missing, we have to calculate it. So you should be able to see here that this length, right? This length along the side is the same as this length plus this length, right? We can see that. So what you need to say is you need to say 7,3 minus this length, and that will give you that outstanding length. Okay, so let's go and write that down. So we say 7.3 is that long length, and we're subtracting off the shorter length to get what D equals. 7.3 minus 5,2, and that gives me 2.1 meters, right? Make sure to always include your units. Let's go on to the last question for this paper. I mean, not for this paper, I wish, right, for this video. The volume of the flower bed with materials can be calculated as follows. So remember, volume is length times breadth times height, okay? So we have this plus this. So remember, if we were calculating the volume here, we would kind of divide it into these two rectangles and would calculate the volume of that and the volume of that separately, okay? So we know that this is 2.1 meters. So 2.1 is probably going to be D. That 3 is going to be that 3 there, right? And then we have this outstanding, which is probably our height. But let's check because the height's similar the whole way around. So this calculation should also have height somewhere in it. So here, what are our dimensions? You don't say 7,3 because 7,3 was the whole length. You'd say 5,2, which we did, times by 1, which we did, times by 0.5. So that's 0.5, which is recurring in both of these brackets, has to be the height, because we know that volume is length times breadth times height. And we've accounted for length and we've accounted for breadth. So height has to be 0,5. So write that in, not just 0,5. Put in your meters, and that is us done. I hope that was helpful.